Welcome to CoachIQ. Today we do political science MCQs, that is on the lesson power sharing. The first MCQ: during which period was the Belgium Constitution amended? 4 options are given to you. Choose amongst one of them. The answer is A, 1970 to 1993. The second one: Community Government of Belgium has powers regarding which issues? Again, you have 4 options and you have to choose amongst one. The right answer is A, culture, education and language. Please remember, community government is in no way associated with any political issues. It's only associated with culture, education and language. The third one: where is the headquarters of the European Union? Belgium, Amsterdam, Colombo or Brussels? The right answer is D, Brussels. I'm very sure many must have marked Belgium. That's a common mistake, so keep in mind it's Brussels. Fourth, in a democracy, power sharing is done between which of the following social groups? Regional and political, linguistic and political, religious and linguistic, regional and political. The answer is C, religious and linguistic. The next MCQ: which statement among the following is not true regarding a civil war? You have 4 statements. Now 1 is not right and 3 are right. A, it's a violent conflict. B, takes place between opposing groups within a country. C, takes place within a country. Fourth, that is D, takes place between the opposing groups of 2 countries. Now, civil war we know is a violent conflict. There is violence involved. It's between opposing groups. A war is always between opposing groups. But civil war is always within a country. It's never between 2 countries. So, the answer is D, that this D option is the wrong one because they have given it's between 2 countries. The next one: the Sinhala speakers form dash percentage of the Sri Lankan population. Again, you have A, B, C and D. Choose the right one. The answer is D, 74%. Next, the Sri Lankan government policies sought to ensure. That is, what policies they implemented, what did they want from that? A, equality among the different groups. B, dominance of Sinhala speaking majority. Or C, equal political rights to be given to the Sinhala and Tamil speakers. The answer is B. They wanted the Sinhala speaking majority to be the dominating group. Next, Belgium changed from unitary to federal form of government, and what did this lead to? Partition of the country, violence in the country, or avoided a messy partition of the country on the basis of language? The answer is C. Because it changed from unitary to federal, a messy partition of the country was avoided. The next one: Belgium's bordering countries are, again you have A, B and C given. The answer is A, France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. 10th, which statement is true regarding ethnicity? It's a political division based on shared culture. People of the same ethnic group have a common descent due to the similar physical features, culture, or both. C. People of the same ethnic group belong to the same religion or nation. So, amongst this, you have to say which is right. Now, if you see A, it's a political division based on shared culture. No, it's a social division. So, your A is wrong. Then you see C. People of the same ethnic group belong to the same religion or nation. Again, this is wrong because if you're from the same ethnic group, you can belong to different religions, you can belong to different nations. Go to B. People of the same ethnic group have a common descent because they look the same maybe, or their culture is the same, or both. So B is right because that is the definition. Next one. Correct the following statements and rewrite. The statement given is, the ethnic composition of Belgium is simple. The right answer is, the ethnic composition of Belgium is very complex. So simple changes to complex. Next, again correct the following statement. Tamil natives of the country are called Indian Tamils. The right answer is, Tamil natives of the country are called Sri Lankan Tamils. Next one. Imposing the will of the majority community over others looks very attractive in the short run. But what could be the outcome in the long run? In the short run, dominance of the majority looks really good, very attractive. But what could be the consequence, the repercussion in the long run? A. Strengthen the unity of the country. B. Undermine the unity of the country. Or C. Help the minorities to become successful. The answer is B. Undermines the unity of the country. That is, it weakens the country's unity. The next one. Correct and rewrite. When two or more parties come together to contest an election, it is called a coalition government. The right answer is, when two or more parties come together, contest an election, it is called an alliance. Always before the election, it's an alliance, and after the election, it's a coalition. That is, once the alliance wins, then it will become or it will form a coalition government. Next, when power is shared among different organs of the government, it is also called vertical division of power, federal division of power, or the system of checks and balances. It is C, checks and balances. Now in the 16th one, you have been given 3 statements. And the answer, the choice is, you have to choose the group which is right. So A, in Belgium, the majority Dutch speakers tried to impose their dominance over the minority French speakers. In Sri Lanka, the government policies tried to ensure the dominance of the Sinhala speaking majority. C. The Tamils in Sri Lanka demanded a federal arrangement of power sharing to protect their culture, language, and provide equality of opportunity in education and jobs. Or the last one, the transformation of Belgium from unitary to federal government prevented a division of the country, a possible division on linguistic lines. Now your options are given. A, B, C and D all are right, or A, B and D is right, or C and D is right, or B, C and D is right. You have to choose. When you get such questions, you really have to think for some time. The answer is D, B, C and D. Because in A, in Belgium, the majority Dutch speakers tried to impose their dominance over the minority French. speakers. You know that is wrong because the minorities were actually dominating over the majority Dutch. If you see C, B, it is right. The policies always wanted that the Sinhala speakers should be more dominant in Sri Lanka. C, the Tamils who were in minority, they did want all these things that protect their language, culture, get equality in jobs and opportunities. And D, yes, when Belgium changed from unitary to federal, it did prevent a possible partition, right? So your B, C, and D is right, and A is wrong. The next one. The Bombay High Court ordered the Maharashtra State Government to take action and improve the living conditions of the 2000 odd children at the 7 children homes in Mumbai. Now, what type of power sharing are you talking about over here? Which type is represented? That is power sharing among levels of government, or with social groups, or amongst organs of government? The answer is C. That is, it is amongst organs of government. Because when you are sharing power among organs, it's judiciary, legislature, and executive. So your High Court is the judiciary and the government is your executive. Next, what does EELAM mean? Country, region, or state? It means state. Next, correct the statement and rewrite. The democratically elected Sri Lankan government adopted prudential measures to establish Tamil supremacy. The corrected answer would be the government adopted a series of majoritarian policies to establish Sinhala supremacy. So, two things are wrong. Prudential becomes majoritarian and not Tamil supremacy. They always wanted Sinhala supremacy. Next, the minority Dutch speaking community was rich and powerful in Belgium. The right answer is the minority French speaking community was rich and powerful in Belgium. Not the Dutch speaking, but the French speaking community was the one which was powerful in Belgium. The next MCQ is, which language speaking people were the majority in Belgium? German, French, Dutch, or the English? The answer is C. The Dutch speakers were the majority in Belgium. The next MCQ, which of the following was not a provision of the Act of 1956 passed in Sri Lanka? So amongst these four, which is not right? The first one, Sinhala was recognized as the only official language. Provinces were given autonomy. Buddhism would be protected by the state, or Sinhalas were favored in the government jobs. The answer is B. Provinces were given autonomy. So this is wrong. It was not there in the Act of 56. The next MCQ, which one of the following is not a form of power sharing? A. Power shared between organs of government, power shared between different levels of government, shared between social groups, or between a monarch and his ministers. The answer is D. That is, this is not a form of power sharing, that is between a monarch and his ministers, because we all know monarchs are very despotic and authoritative, so they are not going to really share power. The next one, when different parties share power to form a government, it is called majoritarian, federal, community, or coalition. It is D, coalition. The next one, which was the major group in the population of Sri Lanka? Sinhalas, Sri Lankan Tamils, Muslims, or the Indian Tamils? The answer is A. Sinhalas were the major group in the Sri Lankan population. The next MCQ. Which language is spoken in the Flemish region of Belgium? French, German, Dutch, or Spanish? Now, we all know the thumb rule of MCQs are, first of all, in your mind, remove the ones which you are very sure is wrong. So here we all know it would be D. Spanish is wrong because it's not spoken. So in your minds, you have to just choose between French, German, and Dutch. So in the Flemish region, it is Dutch. Now, a simple way of remembering this is that in Flemish region, Dutch is spoken. I just remember my banking work and I remember FDs, fixed deposits, and you all are all familiar with it because you have it in your economics also. So just remember for Belgium, remember F and D, FD. So it is Flemish region, Dutch is spoken. Okay, so it's a small way of remembering. Next MCQ. Which statement best explains the ethnic composition of Belgium? A. 50% Dutch speakers and 50% French speakers. All are Dutch and German speaking population only. Next, 59% Dutch speakers, 40% French speakers, and 1% German speakers. The D. Majority are French speakers as compared to Dutch speaking population. Belgium has a very complex ethnic composition. Now, which one is right? The answer is C. 59% speak Dutch, 40% speak French, and 1% speaks the German language. The next MCQ. Why is power sharing good for democracies? So, which of the following is not a correct answer? So here you have to answer why is it good. First, and which is not right. It is the spirit of democracy. Absolutely right. Involves power sharing amongst all. That is also right. You saw amongst organs, amongst levels of government, among groups. Third, reduces the possibility of conflicts. Yes, power sharing does reduce the chances of violence and problems and disputes. And the next one, it increases the possibility of conflicts. This is wrong regarding power sharing. So the answer is D, it is not right. The next MCQ. In which country did the practice of majoritarian policies lead to a civil war? Belgium, Sri Lanka, or Netherlands? The answer is B, Sri Lanka. The next MCQ. Which is the third level of government practiced in Belgium? Self-government, local government, community government, or the municipal government? It is C, community government. The next MCQ. Which of the following system of power sharing is called checks and balances? Is it horizontal distribution? Is it federal? Is it power shared among social groups? Or none of the above? The answer is A, horizontal distribution of powers. The other name for horizontal distribution is the system of checks and balances. The next MCQ. In which country amongst the three has power sharing been successful? Northern Ireland, Belgium, or Sri Lanka? The answer is B, Belgium, because Sri Lanka had a civil war and Northern Ireland also there was a lot of conflicts. So power sharing has been successful in Belgium, where everything was done very peacefully. The next MCQ. Dash number of people or dash people constituted a majority in Brussels? Dutch speaking, French speaking, Tamil speaking, or German speaking? Look very carefully at the question. I've asked Brussels. Brussels is the capital of Belgium. So the answer is B, French speaking. In Belgium, most of the people are Dutch speakers, but in Brussels, it is French speaking. The next MCQ. Which are the two major ethnic groups in Sri Lanka? The French and the Dutch, the Sinhalese and the French, the Sinhalese and the Tamils, or the French and the Tamils? A very easy one. It is C, the Sinhalese and the Tamils. The next MCQ. Sinhala was recognized as the only official language by the Act of 1956, Act of 1856, Act of 1846, or the Act of 1966. It is A, Act of 1956. The next MCQ. Which statement about coalition government is true? Power sharing is among different organs of the government. B, it is shared, that is, power is shared among different levels of the government. Power is shared by different social groups. Or power is shared by two or more political parties. So for coalition government, the answer is D. Because in a coalition government, two or more political parties come together and form the government. So the answer is D. So these are the MCQs for power sharing.
I really hope this topic has become clearer. And if you have any queries, please post them in the comments below. And do like the video, share it with your friends and classmates, and subscribe to my channel to continue studying with CoachIQ.